and rest. We're gonna go to 45 seconds of toe touches. You don't have to walk these, but it's you kind of have to move a little bit if you're gonna be touching your toes like that. So opposite hand, opposite foot. Keep your legs straight as possible. And rest. Good. We're gonna grab either an empty barbell or a dowel rod, broomstick, whatever you've got in that back rack position. Keep your lats nice and tight, hips nice and firm. We're gonna just have our back straight until you feel it in your hamstrings or you're parallel to the ground. Good. Don't go below parallel, guys. You guys are flexy today. We want to warm up our hamstrings. In 3, 2, 1, and rest. We're gonna do Samson again. And go. Oh, rest. Sorry. Gosh, I was watching you guys do it. And toe touches. I got distracted watching your form. We're going to do toe touches in 3. And go. Good. We're going to good mornings. Nice and flat back, guys. Just hinge at the hips. Good. About 15 more seconds. Good, and rest. One more round. You do walking Samson. Rest. Going to toe touches for the last time. And go. Yeah, good job, Kaja. Upside down. Gotcha.
I thought I was trying to flip it and it didn't work. Then I saw myself walking the wrong way across the screen.
And rest. Last set of good mornings. Go. And rest. Good. Excellent. While I'm talking through the next bit, if you guys keep your broomstick, we didn't really warm up our shoulders a lot. We're not going to be lifting heavy today. Okay, this is technique, and so we're basically going to be with an empty barbell or a broomstick this whole time. Especially today, next week maybe we'll put some weight on the bar, but we want to work mostly on technique and fixing things. Dan was saying when he first signed on, like, I think everybody's bad at cleans at some point. Everybody needs, even coaches need coaches. And so we're going to work on breaking things down and starting from the beginning. And so while I'm talking, I want you guys to just take your broomstick and do some of these PVC pass-throughs, or I guess it would be a broomstick pass-through today, just to warm up your shoulders. Still pay attention. We want to make sure our shoulders are a little bit warm so that we can get into that front rack position, this position here. Trying to find my camera so that our shoulders are nice and warm for that. Okay. Megan's expandable. That's pretty cool. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about when we talk about Olympic lifting. So anytime we're touching a barbell, especially in the clean and jerk, which we're working on Tuesdays in the next couple weeks, and the snatch, which Stephen will be working on Thursdays for the next couple weeks, is our posture. Okay. We want to make sure that whenever we're touching a barbell, we're standing nice and tall. You guys do yoga at all, they talk about that string going from your feet up through your hips, up through your body, up through the top of your head, standing nice and tall. We want to make sure that you're not slouching. No rolled backs, no hunched shoulders. Okay, nice and tall. I also have had a couple coaches call it the macho man look. So like if you've ever been to the beach or you've seen like guys like when they're macho, right? They put their shoulders back and they puff their chest up. That's what you guys want to be, right? We want to have our shoulders back. Our chest is nice and tight. Our lower back's a little bit curved here, but everything is nice and tight. So I'm showing off for those pretty ladies on the beach, right? Because I'm a macho guy. Nice and tall. My face is looking straight ahead. I'm not looking down. I'm not looking up. My face is nice and neutral. And this is where we stand. You guys all look beautiful. Okay? We're always going to come back to that because it's important that we don't get too comfortable with the barbell. We want to make sure that we're, not just shoulders down, but we want to make sure those lats are on. So if you picture your shoulder blades, you're going to take your left shoulder blade and put it in your right pocket and your right shoulder blade and put it in your left pocket. So you're just putting your shoulders down and together, right? Puff that chest out real big. Good. Excellent. Today we're working on cleans. So our clean grip is that grip that's closer to our body, okay? If you take your hands and you down by your hips and you move your thumbs, you should be able to brush your thighs with your thumbs-ish around there. It could be a little bit wider. We don't want to be way out here because this is a snatch grip, okay? You want to be nice and close. We want to always use our hook grip, which on a dowel rod is super easy because it's so much thinner than a barbell, right? Hook grip is where you take your thumb and you try to touch your pinky and then you wrap your other fingers around it, okay? Now, on a typical barbell, you're not gonna be, at least I can't do that. I've got short, stubby fingers. I must have short, I can't get my whole hand around a bar. On my barbell, my hook grip usually looks like 2 fingers over my thumb. As long as we can get 2 fingers over your thumb, it just locks in that bar. So if I have got weight on that bar, it's harder for me to drop it, right? My thumb is a weak point, but if I add my fingers, it becomes stronger, okay? We're always gonna hook grip. We've got that nice tall macho man stance, right? And a clean basically is lifting it up our body like a scarecrow and moving our elbows underneath, okay? In this position, this is what we call front rack position. Your barbell should be on your shoulders, okay? And your elbows should be nice and high. It's a little bit harder to get your barbell on your shoulders when it's a dowel rod and there's no weight to it, okay? But we're gonna practice because if we can get it to our shoulders with a dowel rod, then we can definitely get our elbows up with our barbell. Yeah? What other lifts do we use this position for? When we're here, we go overhead, we do our overhead presses this way, but what else do we do?
Squat.
Front squats, okay? Front squat is the first step of relearning our clean, okay? If you can't front squat, you shouldn't be cleaning, okay? In CrossFit, we do a lot of power cleans, right? You guys are familiar with that, where we're in a WOD and we clean to here, right? You can see me. We clean to here, and then we stand up and do the rest of our stuff. In Olympic lifting, a clean actually is what CrossFitters call a squat clean. So a clean is actually all the way down. So essentially, I'm doing a front squat every time I do a clean. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to get in that front rack position with your arms and keeping that macho man stance. So now you're gonna try and get your elbows up just a little bit, right? We want to imagine that there's, I'm a Star Wars nerd, right? There's lightsabers coming out the ends of your elbows, right? We want to make straight lines in the wall across from us. We don't want to cut the floor. Okay, so try and get them up as far as you can. Okay, keeping your elbows nice and high, keeping your chest nice and tight, keeping your belly nice and tight. You're gonna send your hips back and go straight down. I want you to sit in the squat for 2 seconds. Good. Okay, Chad, can you move your feet out just a little bit? I think maybe, there you go. Your squat will be a little bit better if you can get down further. Good, good.
Do I like leave it in my fingers or am I still in this?
Yes.
You're still in, you can in a front squat you can actually have it on your fingertips if you need to, Megan. Okay.
And then just
Yeah, but it's on my shoulders.
Good. Beautiful.
Further back. You gotta get those elbows up. Really really tight.
I'm watching you guys. I promise. No, Megan, you're doing great. Megan, I want you to move your feet in just a little bit. I think that your stance for your squat might be a little bit wide. Can you move your toes out? There you go. Try that. Try squatting there. Good. Good. We want to try to get our butt to the, pardon the French, ass to the grass, okay? We want to try to get our butt as low as possible in that squat, because the lower we can get into a squat, the heavier we can lift a clean eventually, okay? So I really want to see you guys try to get down here and sit in a squat, okay? You're gonna feel it in your back and those erector muscles around your spine. See how long you can hold it in that squat.
so this is this one.
Elbows up, honey. Yep, lay on your
Elbows
shoulders.
up. Good. Nice, Chen.
Elbows up.
Good, Dan. Very nice.
Oh.
Excellent. Good job, guys.
Oh my brothers.
Okay. Once we're down in that squat, the important part is now coming up. Okay. So it's all about driving through your heels. Okay. We want our whole foot on the ground. You want to feel like your big toe is screwed into the ground, and that's going to keep your heels nice and planted too. So while you're on the floor, I want you to look at your feet and pretend like you have a piece of paper underneath your feet, and you're going to try to tear that paper apart. You're not actually moving your toes. You're just screwing your feet into the ground, okay? When you do that in this squat, right, I'm gonna have a lot of nice base to drive myself up out of the squat. Okay, you don't want to be just on your toes. Because if you're on your toes with a heavy weight in front of you, what's gonna happen? You're gonna fall forward, okay? There you go.
Roll on your shoulders. So there it is. Now that's what you're going to squat through.
Do I go down and squat right here? Right.
Pass the grass.
Send your hips back. Good, Megan. Very nice. Keep those elbows nice and high. Excellent. Good. That looks great.
No, I didn't.
Do it again.
Good. Excellent.
They're my wrists.
There's some exercises we can do to strengthen wrists. Wrists are definitely the weak part. I get my wrists always hurt when I do front squats. So wrists, and then that front rack position. If you want to get better at that, a great thing to do is even like on your bed or on the coffee table, right? Come up to it and put your elbows on the edge of it and sink down into that squat. Sink down into this. So you're stretching this tricep and your lat, right? So this is what's holding you back from getting that real good front rack position, is this muscle here is tight. So if you want to stretch that out so it's used to getting high again, then it'll be easier. Okay. All right. So once we're in that front squat, we're gonna drive up and out. So I want you guys to think about driving so hard. I'm gonna come way back here. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
When you're in that front squat, you want to drive almost to that the bar comes off your shoulders. Okay? This is how you receive a clean. You want to stand up so that we can finish the clean. Okay? So you should feel that in your butt. This hind quarter right here, that should be really hard, right? You're going to drive and squeeze your butt right here, coming up. I want you guys to go back into that front squat and do 3 more where you're focused on feeling that in the sides of your butt. Good, Krishan.
Keep up. So here. Now the 2 fingers.
Always have it.
Okay. So that.
Yeah. You want to bring it up? Get a good stance. Remember stance?
Good.
Toes a little. Yeah. Drive those elbows up. Drive.
Good, Megan. Excellent.
Now it's going down the squat.
Keep your chest nice and high. Good. Now drive through your whole foot and squeeze your butt. Good. You should almost feel like that bar is popping off your shoulders because you're driving so hard and gravity is just keeping going. Okay. Excellent. Did you see that pop? Did you feel that pop, Megan? Did you feel that pop off your shoulders? That's how hard you want to drive.
Okay.
All right.
That's good. That's better than me. Those elbows up.
Good. Take it out, guys. Get feeling back in your hands. We've talked about our posture, that macho man on the beach posture, right? We've looked at our front squat. Front squat is where we're going to receive our squat cleans and drive up out of it. And so now we're going to, instead of starting where we're finishing, we're going to start where we're starting. Okay? Our start position is the most important thing you're going to learn. Okay? Start position is where you're going to grab the barbell. Does that make sense? So, your barbell is on the floor. Start position is where you're going to grab it and start. So my mid shin basically is where we're going to start because that's where your barbell is when it has weights on it, right? When I'm here, my feet are about hip width apart. The way you find that is right where you are right now. I want you guys to just jump up and down. Just jump and stop. Where your feet are is where your start position is. Okay?
We're jumping.
Okay, good. Look at your feet. And then especially those of you with a barbell, look at that where in comparison to where the knurling is on your barbell, your feet should be right about where the knurling starts. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's where you're always going to start. I like to have my toes turned out just a smidge because that helps my knees know not to cave in. So if you know that you have a problem with your knees caving in on lifts, go ahead and turn your feet out just a little bit. You don't want to be a duck. We're not a duck, we're not in ballet. We're just a little bit like a 12-30, not like a 3, okay? Our start position then has our bar at the base of our shoes. And grab Philip's giant shoe, okay? This lace right here on your shoe, it goes straight across, is essentially where the barbell should be. So you should line up where your feet position and your barbell should look like that. Okay? You guys see what I'm talking about? Yeah? Our shoulders are gonna be a little bit in front of the bar. Okay? And that means my butt is a little bit higher. Okay? My barbell is right against my legs, against my shoes. I've got that hook grip. And this is where we start, right here. I want you guys to get into your start position and just hold it, which is a very hard thing to do. But if you guys can go sideways to me so I can look at you from the side, that would be awesome. Yeah.
You see me?
I can see you.
Yeah, just go parallel. We'll
Okay.
go face it. You can move opposite a bit.
Good. Okay, Chad. Okay, Chad, can you lower your hips a little bit?
So
There you go. Good. I like that.
Okay.
Okay. Make sure you're keeping those lats on, guys. That macho man position. Okay. And just look up. Good. Megan, can you bring your feet together just a little bit? Your legs should be totally inside your arms.
Lovely.
Go back to your start position. Kay-chan, you're doing awesome. That's great. Good, Dan. Excellent. Good. Holding is the hardest part. Okay. Once we get there, our grip is just outside our legs. Our hips are higher than our knees. Shoulders are in front of our bar. So if we look down, you guys should be able to see your shoulders almost in the line with your toe. Your shoulder should be in front of your bar. So Megan, lift your hips up a little bit. Lift your hips up, Megan. There you go. And then turn your lats on so your barbell comes to your legs. There you go. Good, good. Come in. Put your shoulder blades in your pockets. Good, bring your hips up. There you go, right there, Megan. Look down. I want you to look, get back in that position and look down and see where your shoulders are in relation to the bar. Make sure your shoulders are in front of the bar. Now bring your hips up. Hips up, there, right there.
God, she looks better than I do.
You should feel that in your hamstrings. Your hamstrings should be burning from holding that position, okay? Everybody burns when they hold this start position. It is the hardest thing to do because your whole body is under tension and it's not used to that. Good. Excellent. Okay.
Here.
Good. Excellent. Wonderful, guys. You guys can relax. Every week we're gonna kind of not go through it to this point, but just as a review every week so we don't forget where we're supposed to start. We don't want to get lazy, right? But the last thing we're gonna talk about today is lift off, which is a fun way of saying we're gonna start the lift, okay? But I'm gonna get on my soapbox a little bit and say lift off is the most important thing, okay? Not only because it's the start of our lift, but if you do it correctly, it makes it much easier. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So when we do any lifts, deadlift, cleans, snatches, even overhead squats, anything that's not a strict press, we use our legs. It's not an upper body movement. Okay? So we want to focus on pushing through the ground rather than pulling off the ground. Does that make sense? Yeah? So what I talked about earlier with our feet of screwing our toes into the ground, making sure our whole foot, our heel and our toes are all touching the floor at the same time, having a big tripod, our heel, our big toe and our baby toe. That's going to be imperative because we need that full contact with the floor so that we can squeeze our butt and drive real hard out of that start position. Okay? So from the start position, we're going to push with our legs to move the bar from the floor to just above the knees, and that's as far as we're going today. Okay? If it hasn't been too long and you remember, we're going to go from the floor to the hang position. Okay? So we're going to go from our start position here, 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 to here. That's it. angle of my back. Okay? From my shoulders to my hips. Okay? I want you to look. My back ain't change at all.
Set up separate.
My back ain't change. If it does, it shouldn't. We want our back, our shoulders, and our hips to rise at the same time. We don't want what we lovingly call the stripper pull. Okay? We don't want this. Okay? We don't want this. We don't straighten our legs and throw our butt up. We push to the ground, and our shoulders and our hips rise at the same time. Okay? So I want you guys just to do that little lift, that lift off, that first lift from mid shin to just above your knee. Okay? Your shoulders and hips should remain at the same angle, and you should feel it all in your hamstrings and your butt. So you're in your start position. Good. And then you're going to push to the ground, just to above your knee. Good.
My knees should be inside my body.
Your knees should be inside, yes. So Dan, if you go back to your start position, okay, raise your hips up just a little bit. Look at what it does to your knees. Now look down at your knees. Your knees are now behind your bar. So we want you to start there. There, see how it changes? Okay. Yep. So now if you push from there, now you don't have to go around your knees. Does that make sense?
It does.
So raising your hips just that like 1/4 inch helps you get a straight takeoff. There you go.
So my knees should almost be at 90 degrees, huh?
Yes, your shins should almost be straight up and down.
So.
Hi, Stephen. Stephen just signed in. I can't see him, but he's here listening to us.
Is that correct?
I don't know.
Hey, Chen, you look wonderful.
Excellent.
Good.
How's that, Jamie?
Hips up just a little bit, Dan. There you go, right there. Good. Megan, don't stand all the way up. You're gonna stay in a little bit of a squat. You're gonna stay here, just above your knee. Okay. Bring your hip, there you go, okay. How you guys feeling? Are we sweating? Are we sweating with an empty barbell? Because that's the goal. That's the goal, is to be like, oh, why is this so hard?
Yeah.
Good. Your legs hurt? Even better.
Yeah.
Good. That start position is really imperative that we get it right, and we get it right every time. Which is why I like you guys practicing holding that position. Okay? That horrible burn that you get is your muscles remembering how to get here. Okay? Everything is under tension. My belly is tight, my back is tight, my hamstrings are tight, even my calves are tight, my feet are screwed into the ground. If I hold here long enough, my body is automatically going to be able to just go here. And I'm not going to have any adjustments eventually.
How's that, Jamie?
Good, Dan. That's wonderful. Just like that. Megan, turn on those shoulders. Turn those shoulders. There you go. Perfect, guys.
So I just need to the shoulders.
Okay. We should be feeling this in our legs, that push off the ground. Your shoulders could be tired because they've been under tension this whole time, but they shouldn't hurt. Your hamstrings are gonna hurt a little bit because they've been under tension and we're pushing through the ground. We have that, we're having tension and then explosion, tension and explosion, right? Megan, turn those lats on so your bar doesn't float away from you.
Woo!
Good job, guys. Officially, that is all I have for you.
Oh.
Officially, we are done with that, okay? It's a lot of hard work. Okay, the good thing is that the posture we talked about and the start position basically is going to be the same for the snatches on Thursday that Steven's going to take you guys through, okay? Start position is a little bit different just with your hips and your hands because your hands are wider with the snatch, but your feet are going to be the same. And it's going to be the same drive through the ground. We're not ever pulling off the ground, never ever pulling. We're always pushing the earth away as far and as fast as we can. Okay? So if you're looking for stretches to do, definitely try that on your coffee table or on your countertop, that stretch for your lats and your triceps, right? Or even, you know, on a wall somewhere, right? We have that like super silly flirty, hey baby, how you doing? It's a great stretch to do to make sure we can get into that front rack, because that front rack is good not just for catching our clean and for a front squat, but it's also where we start our overhead stuff. Okay, so we want to be able to get these muscles nice and loose so that we can actually use them. Okay, all right. Will you guys get close to the screen so I can take a picture of us?
Sure.
Our first OLY class. Ready? Smile. All right. Perfect. Thanks, guys. I hope you learned something. And we'll do the next series for the cleans. So next week, we'll start pulling. Next week, we're going to start this stuff. Okay? So it's going to be important that our triceps and our lats are nice and stretched. You guys ready? Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
you. Bye.
Bye.